morning, Justice Warriors. How are you guys this morning? How's the lighting? It's just always crazy, okay? I do try so hard to get the lighting right. So if it's all right on everybody's eyeballs, we'll just go ahead. And if it's not all right on your eyeballs, let me know what it is. Like if I'm too too shadowed, or if whatever the deal is. Anyway, I did have somebody last week complain about the blinking lights, which I was very compassionate towards. So I don't have any of my lights blinking. Hopefully the little fairy lights are fine with you guys because I love them. So good morning, people. Let's start off with not knocking the computer down. So I always just like to open up with my spiel. Everything I say is my opinion only. Oh, you're so sweet, Sifa. Thank you. I'm just going to hit that, not because I'm full of myself and love your compliment, but it's a nice compliment. Thank you. And once I pin a message or pin a comment, then I get into the habit of pinning them for the rest of the video. And sometimes I forget. So you guys can always remind me too, if I'm reading your comments and you say, you haven't pinned any comments. So I try. I love you guys. Everything I say is simply my opinion. It's all for the sake of opening up a conversation, hoping to have an intelligent discussion about things that matter, and hoping to be educational, hoping to be educated. And last, not least, my videos are made specifically for the YouTube platform, which, as we all know, is an entertainment platform. So I do like to include that information. Just to be clear, many of us are not really here for entertainment, I don't think. I think most of us are here for learning, which you could define that as entertainment loosely, I guess, depending on how you want to define things. So there's so much going on, you guys. I just don't even know where to begin. First of all, I had to do a fasting blood draw this morning, which is very challenging. I have to have my coffee when I wake up. You guys know that. So I didn't have my coffee, and I went to get my blood drawn, and they had no freaking order. So I was like texting and calling my doctor at home because their office is closed on Fridays. And I have an appointment, my annual checkup on Monday. So I guess they can say it's my fault for waiting until Friday, but they didn't have the paperwork anyway. But if we had more days, anyway, my problems, I never like to burden you with my problems. And again, I always like to think, girlfriend, if this is your biggest freaking problem, you're one lucky girlfriend. It's just a blood draw. I can have my appointment without it. I can reschedule my appointment. Everything's fine. So as soon as I get my coffee in me. Anyway, so I've had some. This is my second cup. Let me just guzzle the whole thing real quick, okay? And you guys could admire my super cool art history, all of the history of art in the universe on one mug, right? Starts with the cave painting and ends with what? It literally ends with a balloon art, a poodle made of a long, skinny balloon. I don't understand. More coffee. Okay, so if you guys have watched the news this morning or in the last couple of days, I'm sure you've heard about this. I try to catch NPR every morning. I try to catch some regular television news, not just the YouTube news. Although I really enjoy News Nation on YouTube and also that channel in Florida that I think they do a really good job. I think it's called Florida 8 or something like that. And that there's that one guy, he does a great job. He's really funny though. He has like a thing like we're doing, but he does it like 24 hours a day. I don't think he sleeps. So if you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so tonight, you guys, this is kind of freaking me out and I don't know that much about it. And I don't think I really want to know because I don't know. I was crushed, absolutely crushed by the whole George Floyd thing. I was crushed by the Breonna Taylor thing. I was crushed by the John Crawford thing. All of these Black Lives Matter incidents that have instigated basically an uprising, to put it bluntly. So we might have an uprising over the weekend, you guys, and I'm all for it as long as everything's peaceful, right? Out there in Portland, Seattle, questionable as far as peacefulness goes. I'm telling you, Oregon is like Idaho. It's so liberal that it is hyper conservative, and it becomes anarchy. That whole thing with libertarian idealization. Can I speak? Idealization. Um, I'm all for the freedom of our country. I'm not for having little to no government. I'm all for having an non-corrupt government. So to me, it feels like that libertarianism is like giving up on the possibility of government not being corrupt and just saying, stay out of our lives. We do what we want. So Oregon's a lot like that too, you guys. It's a lot like that. It's more like Idaho, maybe, than Idaho. So I don't want to go off on that whole issue, because that we could talk about for years. But my point is that tonight they're releasing a video of Tyree Nichols, who was murdered by 5 Memphis police officers during a traffic stop 2 years ago. And these five, Tyree or Tyra Nichols, if you guys know and want to tell me. Don't attempt anything without coffee. Exactly. Here, let me highlight that. I know I always like to jokingly, of course, say I don't trust people who don't drink coffee. Sort of like people who smoke cigarettes don't trust people who don't smoke cigarettes. Anyway, so Mr. Nichols was Black, and he was murdered by 5 Black police officers in Memphis. All 5 officers were part of a group called the Scorpion Squad. It was like an organized thing in their police department. They've all been fired. They're all being charged with murder. And tonight, they're releasing the videotape of them beating him to death. You guys, have you heard about that? I mean, it sounds like surreal, doesn't it? And why tonight? They always release explosive things on Friday night so that everybody can cool out over the weekend. But I don't think people are going to be cooling out over the weekend. I really don't. I think they should have released this last night so people could have Friday to flip out over it with news movement, like real news. Because the thing with releasing things late Friday evening, the way they like to, is they do that so that everybody just goes home and has their weekend and can kind of cool their jets and then address it Monday morning. I don't think people are going to be cooling their jets. And I don't know, maybe that's a good thing, as long as there's no freaking riots, Nonviolence protesting is awesome, but some places, Seattle and Portland were notorious during the summer of 2020 for all kinds of mayhem. So I just hope that doesn't happen. It kind of harkens back to the whole Rodney King thing in Los Angeles a few years before the O.J. Simpson case, which was, I think, why they wanted to find O.J. Simpson not guilty, was because they were so scared of a riot even bigger than the last one. And riots are stupid. The whole thing with the pitchforks, what is it? The torches and pitchforks. That's just metaphor, people. Don't do that, right? I heard the victim suffered 30 minutes of constant beating. I'm horrified. I don't know if they're going to release the whole freaking 30 minutes. That would be crazy. But the family has demanded that they release it. And, they've been working closely with lawyers and judges and community activists and reverends and the mayor and the police chief. The police chief is a black woman, I believe. Anyway, I just mentioned this at the end of the video last night or somewhere in the last night's video about police immunity. And when I was re-listening to my video to check it, I don't know that it recorded my word right. I'm not kidding you. Like I said immunity and it sounded like I said something else. So I'll have to listen to it again and write down what it sounded like I said. I said it a couple of times, so it was only one time that it sounded like a different word to me, but it was like a glitch in the tape. So my apologies for any glitches in the tape. I mean, I certainly can glitch and I can speak wrong, right? I can say one thing when I mean another, but this was definitely a glitch in the tape. Anyway, my point about police immunity is that police are usually protected and not held accountable for any crimes that they may have committed while doing their job. And in theory, that's a good thing because police need to, pardon the phrase, go balls to the walls and take care of business, right? So if there's a problem, as long as they're doing their job right and they're not abusing their power and they're not trying to take advantage of their power and other people, then they shouldn't be held liable for doing their job as long as they're doing their job. But the corruption comes in where they take advantage of that immunity, like at Wazoo is a perfect example. They do whatever they want. And that guy in Wazoo who was having his sexual sexcapades all over campus, he got 3 of his supervisors fired basically, and he got to hold on to his job for 6 months longer before he finally got himself resigned just in November, just 2 months ago. So that's because of police immunity. They're invincible in a sense, and they get away with murder like these guys. So they're hanging. I mean, you know how I am. I love cops. This police department in Memphis is hanging these 5 guys out to dry as this should have never happened. But they're trying to say that these 5 guys are the problem. And I have a feeling it goes a lot deeper than that. None of these 5 guys have worked there for more than 5 years. They're trying to say that none of the supervisors knew about the Scorpion Squad. Bullshit. I call bullshit. Nothing like that is going to happen in a police department without supervisors knowing. They're trying to cover their butts. Just like I was saying with Wazoo, that the college administration was trying to cover their butts by firing the entire police department administration. Like, a house cleaning is a good thing, but a real house cleaning, not just cherry picking who you're going to take out and who gets to stay. Anybody involved in something like a Scorpion Squad that runs around and abuses their power and kills people with police immunity and invincibility, anybody who knew anything about that should be tried in a court of law, in my humble opinion. Okay, there. I'm on my high horse. I'm on my soapbox. Police chief in Pennsylvania, Sean Denning, arrested for dealing cocaine and meth. I have not heard about that. Oh my goodness. Police chiefs only make 6 figures, so I guess you can't blame them. But no, what level of dealing is this police chief doing? Is this like the level that perhaps the sheriffs in Nevada and Placer County are dealing? Is this like big time trafficking? Because why would a police chief be doing anything other than big time trafficking? Why would they be dealing if they're not doing the big time trafficking? You know what I mean? Like they're not going to be doing the small time dealing. They're going to be the top banana. They're going to be the head honcho. They're going to be the cartel, right? Or, there's that whole ranking and chain of command that is, they call it organized crime for a reason, because it's organized. It's not unorganized crime. And, getting right into our Idaho 4 case, I think that's a key word that I hadn't really thought of. This whole crime seems more organized than unorganized. And I don't think that one graduate student could do that all by his big old self. Um, so where are we at? We are at 9:20, and let's see. My reaction to this crime is no different than any other similar incident. Just saying. 9:15. Right. I mean, people getting killed by the cops, or people getting literally, not to be too explicit, but screwed by the cops, which was happening all over the campus of Washington State University with that douchebag officer, Kurt. It was like Kurt, and there was an H in there somewhere. The guy who just quit in November, the one who was responsible for getting the police chief, the assistant chief, and the captain all resigned together. And then they hired the guy from Pullman PD who had just retired, Jenkins, Officer Jenkins, who had interviewed our prime criminal defendant, our prime suspect number one, knew him from Pullman PD from April at least. We have record of that with the emails that they had a meeting that I believe was a video conference. And then we know nothing about any follow-up except for that the criminal defendant reapplied maybe with Pullman Police Department in the fall for an internship, different from the assistantship that he had applied for in April. I'm not 100% sure about all this, you guys, because they're not releasing the information. But what we know is that the police chief of Wazoo knew the kid, the 28-year-old kid that is accused of doing this. And that police chief of Wazoo, I guarantee you, knows the police chief of Moscow well, because it's all basically the same town. Okay, let's see. Just saying, a crime is a crime, but they just seem to get worse and worse. Well, the whole thing with video cameras is what changed it. I mean, no, it's been horrible for a long, long time. A horrible, heinous situation. But then people having camcorders, like back in the days of Rodney King, that camcorder is what changed that. Like, that was an everyday occurrence, not on camcorder. Now everybody's got their cell phone. There's the doorbell cams. Cops are mostly supposed to wear body cams. It's kind of like your standard practice. It's your best practice to have body cams and dash cams. They don't solve all the problems, but they solve a lot of the problems. And it's easier to get to the root of the problem when you've got that footage. So, I've noticed a lot of times they'll say that video is not available. There was technical difficulties. It didn't record. It got recorded over. And that's BS in my humble opinion. Are you saying this time is worse? I agree, they're getting more frequent, but worse. And I don't know if that's directed WC, if that's directed towards a specific person. I'm going to try really hard not to go backwards at all today, because it just throws me off so bad when I try so hard to keep up with you guys. So I don't think that this time is any worse. Like I said, this stuff's been going on forever. It's just that it used to be undocumented. I mean, it's horrible, tragic crap. Sorry, that was for QC. Okay, thanks. QC, are you saying that this time is worse? Just saying no crime in general. Totally agree. I was blown away by a 6-year-old shooting his teacher. I know. I've been a teacher, a substitute teacher, and I've got family members that are teachers, and it is nuts. Matt Kurt, Sifa, you were so on it. So who got to go check out Sifa's website with his cool artwork? There's a handful of them, and I asked you yesterday, but I don't remember if you got a chance to answer, Sifa, if the artwork of you, like on your profile picture, And on your website, the first piece, is that a self-portrait? Is that you? Is that what you look like? If you want to tell us, if you don't, that's okay. Just say, I plead the fifth. Remember when mob offered protection? Right. Don't they still do that? I I mean, I know that police do that still. That happens. Um, as in paid of law to investigate certain situations, drugs and prostitution back then, Idaho, we see only public nuisance of noise being addressed only. Um, that didn't surprise me because there are more guns in home on America than there are people. Surprised it hasn't happened sooner. It's so sad when kids, you know, accidentally shoot themselves or somebody else. I mean, it happens way too often. It just is horrifying. Autocorrect sucks. Gotcha. So that didn't surprise me. There are more guns in homes in America than there are people. Surprised it hasn't happened sooner. Well, it probably has happened. It just hasn't made the news. I mean, so much goes on that doesn't hit the news really. And a lot of it is because the schools don't want things to be public. The communities don't want things to be public. You know, schools, elementary schools, high schools, all schools try to keep things on the down low, just like the universities do, just like Greek Row does. That's nothing new. Yeah, it's bad, but it's not only them. It's the whole system. You know, the system wants to protect itself, wants to protect its prosperity. It's all about the bottom line. If people don't feel safe to go to school, they're going to homeschool. In some states, like Washington State, if you homeschool your kids, you get the several $1,000s a year rather than the school getting the several $1,000s a year. So that's a thing. Schools don't want that. They want their money from the federal government. The last time I checked, it was like over 7,000 per student per year. And then if it's an IEP student, it was like over 11 or 13,000 a year. That's federal funding that, you know, then you got the whole issues with school boards and problems there. That is all the freaking same as this whole like mob mentality. Just keeping it real, people. I'm just keeping it real. And anybody who has any involvement with these things knows I'm not talking out my rear end. Let's see. How does a 6-year-old have so much hate and even know about killing? Right. I mean, it's all learned behavior. It's absolutely all learned behavior. Sifa says, yes, it's me. Very cool. You look so young. You said you're 33 and you have over half a dozen children of your own, and you just look so young. But then I'm old, so or maybe it's just because you made it so you look really young, right? I mean, 33 to me is super young. Caught Sifa's live today. Oh, I know. I went to your channel, Sifa, and you're doing all this cool stuff. Before I forget, my top priority today, you guys, literally my top priority was to advertise Dr. Latina's live tonight at 8:30. Sifa, you're on this. I know you are. She's going to be going over Trinity Backus's autopsy report. And I don't know if you know Dr. Latina yet. She rocks. She's so awesome. I'm so excited. So I hope to see you guys all there if you're interested. And I saw some cool things that Sifa had put up, and I was hoping to get caught up on that. I look super young, baby face for life, but yes, it's a self-portrait. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with looking super young. Look at our society. Hate is everywhere. Monsters are having babies and they're teaching them how to be monsters. But there's lots of good people too. I mean, seriously, there are. Hoping for answers. Sifa tagged. Nice baby face. Let's see. I'm going to read your question, Annie Ruler, because I have a very strong opinion about that. How do you feel about cameras in schools? I want them to protect teachers from lies as well as show parents porn or racial separation or bashing does not happen. Um, so I agree entirely. I feel very strongly that none of us should be doing anything ever. I'm not opinionated, right? I mean, I try to live my life like I'm on videotape all the time because I feel like in God's eyes, in my opinion, I am. So I don't want to do anything that I'm ashamed of. I don't want to do anything dishonest. I don't want to sneak. Um, and in public spaces, especially, or people at work, I think that it's 100% necessary. I think it's 100% necessary. And I know some people on the other side of that argument, complain about Big Brother. And my opinion, my perspective is that you shouldn't be doing anything that you don't want videotaped. And I enjoy, if I'm in a situation where I know I'm being videotaped, I kind of like it. It makes me feel safe. Like I feel like it keeps me on my best behavior. So I'm safe from myself. Protects me from being an idiot. So I mean, this is kind of lighthearted, but it's also true. It's like, you don't want to be caught picking your nose on tape, right? I mean, that's just gross. You don't want to be doing that anyway. You should be doing that in a tissue in the bathroom, right? I mean, I'm just using that as one example because that's what I think about when I'm in a situation where I know I'm being videotaped. So every morning I'm hoping coffee's going to fix all the crazy. Well, doesn't it? Or at least then we might be able to handle it better. I just seen where an LSU college student got raped and then dropped in the middle of nowhere and then finally hit by a car. So sad. Her name was Madison Brooks. When did this happen, Crime Story Diva? I haven't heard anything about that. And again, those things have been happening for a long time and it's heinous, hideous, awful. And it's good. I feel like it's good for it to be part of common knowledge, to not sweep it under the rug. Okay, you're only 32, Sifa. You'll be 33 in October. And 33 is Jesus age. So watch out. That's how old Jesus was when he got nailed to the cross. My granddaughter is home schooled online. Makes it easy. Kids at school bully, but teachers do not stop them. Much better for her not to be in school. And not every state gives the money to the people doing the homeschooling. I know Washington State did, and I'm pretty sure Ohio doesn't, but I'm not 100%. And yes, I mean, homeschool is good for a lot of people in a lot of situations. I personally feel like public school is hard in some ways, but it's also good socialization. So I'm a supporter of public schools for sure. But I also see a lot of people doing really good homeschool setups, but especially when they have like an organized thing where they do field trips and where they have more contact, more social contact. The isolation, I feel like, is not good for kids if they don't have enough socialization with peers. Absolutely. Heavenly Cloud says, love Dr. Latina. Isn't she amazing? The first time I ever saw her was when she spoke about the Kylie Rodney case. And she did this like spur of the moment, like really serious, like she was freaking out. Just like a 20-minute video. And she basically just said, I'm aware of it and I'm going to speak to it, but not right now because I don't know enough yet. And then she did a series of 3 videos. And Sifa says, yes, I'm excited for it. I love Dr. Latina. I'm in love with her. She's just rocking. I'm in love with her as a colleague. I would love to be in touch with her. I'm going to send her an email. I'll definitely be there, and come hell or high water, 8:30 tonight. Hoping for answers. They did. There is more good than bad. I really believe that. And also I believe that these tragedies, what I said in a video yesterday or the day before, doing a lot of crisis work myself professionally, that when things are bad, they will stay bad. That homeostasis is there, like say in a domestic violence relationship. A lot of times things have to get worse in order to get better, in order for there to be a change and for people to take advantage of the crisis as an opportunity. That's what a crisis is. It's an opportunity. I'll get more into that later. I want to keep up with your guys's comments so I don't get behind. And I think you are right. I'm glad I'm old and don't have to see the society fall apart much longer. Oh my goodness. There is a lot of good to be said for getting old and wise. I believe you are on videotape. Heavenly Clouds. Yeah, I definitely won't be picking my nose while I'm making a tape. And if I ever have a bat in the cave, please tell me. Please. That's like my biggest fear. There was one tape where I had a bunch of mascara rubbed out of the corner of my eye. I probably did it during the video, but you couldn't see. Like I saw it in the mirror afterwards. And in the video, you just really couldn't see because of my glasses. So, but they're fine. And then I'll admit it. There was one tape where I had like not spinach on my teeth, but like a skin of a bean. It was awful. It was so hilarious when I saw the tape. I was like, oh my God. And I had been, I had brushed my teeth before, which I don't always, but I had that day, but it was in my mouth somewhere and it just moved around. And then, it looked like I was missing a tooth. So thank God none of you guys saw it. I have 300 videos now, so you'll never find it if you try. Oh my goodness. Anyway, let's get back on track here. So yeah, you shouldn't be doing anything to hide from a camera. I like that, Kiki Ray. That's how I feel when people get upset about video cameras. I'm just like, no. We need to have cameras like in alleys and on streets. Like you take a city like Chicago and there's a video camera every square inch of Chicago for good reason, right? So people can't get away with crap like what happened to this person back here. I'm just going to look at that name, Madison Brooks. Let me write that down real quick and then get caught back up. Madison Brooks. You guys know when this was, the Madison Brooks thing? And then I'm going to get all the way caught up and then let's see. One of my teachers back in junior high was caught watching a CP by a student and was fired. So yes, it does happen. In the area where I live, there was a well-loved fourth grade teacher or third grade teacher that was arrested by the FBI for CP. And yeah, it does happen. It's creepy. And you guys, if you don't know the way that stuff is made these days, they don't have to get anything other than just your face to then use that face in a Photoshop. Like all of it's done with Photoshop. So the teacher that they arrested and put in jail had been videotaping his students like reading poetry like every day. So that was super freaky. And again, these things happen. Like it's awful. This morning, dragging my body across the floor for a cup of coffee, LOL. My newest upset is Governor Newsom's wife has video at schools, allegedly some PORN type, desensitizing kids to see. Let kids be kids. My twin girls were being groomed in junior high. And you said, where do you live, Annie Ruler? I know you said you had lived in California. Are you still, or no, you had lived in Washington, but you're in Shasta County now? Right, Governor Newsom is California. What's good, Jaded Warehouse says. I'm going to highlight that because I have been forgetting my tagline. What's good? Because I haven't seen Captain Kurt in a while. Yeah, I heard about it, but we are waiting for more details. Jesus age, what you trying to say, Justice? Oh, Jesus was 33. Being from the mental health field, A lot of males actually with tendencies towards like schizophrenia would have their full psychotic break at 33. And, some of them didn't even know that that was Jesus age. But for people with that tendency, just that's all I was saying. I wasn't saying you're going to get crucified, okay? Yes, I saw it. LSU student. She was at a bar and could not walk. She was so drunk. These creeps got her. So sorry for this beautiful 19-year-old. Was this recently? I know I heard about something like that sometime this past year. But yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, you guys, even when I was a party animal, I did not hang out at bars, and that was why. Um, I pretty much tried to steer clear of alcohol altogether, and that was one of the many reasons. Um, Maryland does not give money back for homeschooling. Agreed. The only thing that concerns me with homeschooling is the social aspect, but I totally understand because these schools are acting insane. Right. And a lot of the homeschoolers have a lot of social structure and support, so that's really a non-issue. Do you think I should reach out to her? Because I'm in direct contact with Trinity's father and I could answer a lot of questions she might have. Absolutely, Sifa. Yes, I think you should reach out to her for sure. I know she's been on panels with Zav Girl. She's been on panels with Squirrels on Fire. She's freaking awesome. I love her. I really do. She's doing a lot of good, in my opinion. So yes, please, Sifa, please reach out to her. You guys could really, bolster each other's excellent work. Yes, get worse than gets better. Well said. Dr. Latina is great, uses common language, not egotistical like so many doctors. I've worked with a lot of doctors. Yeah, she's totally awesome. She's hilarious too. Crime Story Diva, it happened on January 14th. Madison Brooks was extremely intoxicated and she got raped in the back of a car. They arrested 4 guys and are saying it was consensual. I'm so sickened. So you guys know that old Jodie Foster movie, The Accused, that was about a true story that happened in Rhode Island at a bar? A lot of people have seen that movie, right? I can't watch something like that. And a friend of mine told me like, "Oh no, you can watch it because they cut out all of those scenes. Like, it's like choppy going back and forth." I was like, "No, I can't watch it. Like I can talk about it. I can watch movies where they talk about it, but no, I'm not going to watch the choppy back and forth and yeah, no thank you." I don't think that there should ever be a scene like that in a movie. I really don't. I think that the blood and the guts and the gore, all that, I think is just crap. If you have good actors, good writers, good directors, and good editors, you don't need it. Like I think movies put that stuff in there because they don't have good actors, writers, directors, and editors, and it's complete crap. Like it glorifies it. It absolutely romanticizes it and glorifies it, and it's not good. It puts ideas in people's heads, especially young people, right? But anybody. I'm so sad for Madison Brooks. Did she survive? I'll look her up. I hope she survived. Let's see. Good morning, Susan Dodge. Let's see. Heavenly Clouds. Yeah, doesn't she have a cool name? Um, January 15th, Madison Brooks. Did she pass? I sent you the info on Madison. Thank you, Sifa. You're so awesome. I guess I could open it real quick, but I'm not going to because I don't want to. I want to just get caught up on your thing and then look at my notes and keep on trucking. Let's see. Annie Ruler says this was San Jose, California, when I called in school. School said again he was sitting with girls on little chairs, stroking their thighs. No intervention. I was paranoid. They decided, holy caboli, Annie. And how recent was that? Because yeah, I mean that's something that school districts are usually very much going to protect themselves and tend to those types of complaints, even if somebody is on the paranoid side. So, I mean, it sounds like it happened a while ago, but not necessarily. Sifa says, "Oh dear, I'm on a roll already." Then that would be great. Yeah, seeing Sifa on with working closely with Dr. Latina. By chance, do you know her contact info? You know what? I was just on her channel this morning, and I did not see her email address in her about part. So for anybody who doesn't know, when you're looking at a content creator's homepage, if you go all the way over to the right, and you might sometimes have to hit the arrow if there's too many selections, you go to the part where it says about, and it tells you like what date they started their channel and a few other things. But that's where you can find an email address too, usually. So I didn't see an email address, but I will try to get it. I'm sure that Squirrels on Fire has it. So I'll shoot her a message and ask her for Dr. Latina's email, because I wanted it too. And then I'll shoot it to you if I get it. So Sifa, make a comment on Dr. Latina's video or community post. I am sure she will invite you on. She commented on Kaz Thinks video and invited her on. Oh, excellent. I want an invite too. Can I come? Funny. It's like a party. I mean, I always feel like it's a party here, you guys. I love it. I get a little nervous before I start. Like, it's more like excitement. Like, I can't wait to start. But I got to have my notes and my coffee and my lighting and this, that, and the other. And then, something happens. So I tried just to go with it and just go ahead and start on time. Today I was a little bit behind because of that whole fiasco with the freaking blood draw that, I was trying to go in at 7 a.m. because of the fasting thing and not having my coffee before I get in my car. And I was doing so well until like I had coffee with me so I could drink it right after. But anyway, here we go. Madison Brooks was dumped on the highway. A car hit her, and Good Samaritans tried to help her, but she died. Oh my goodness. I'm really, really sick by that. I mean, the essay is bad enough. That makes me want to vomit and get people the death penalty. Honestly, I'm of the opinion that SA is worse than murder. I think it's in India. I'm not sure if anybody knows. There are some cultures that punish SA worse than they punish murder. And I'm in agreement with that. However, I'm also in agreement with surviving. So the theory behind that is that an SA is like an incomplete murder, that you've like killed the person's soul, but not their body. And I can understand that, but I'm such a believer in survivors and recovery and resilience. People are so freaking resilient that yes, you can do it. You can come back from anything. I really believe that. I'm so sick to hear that. Oh no, I came in late. What are we all going to watch at 8:30? That is Dr. Latina doing a video of Trinity Backus's autopsy. So, hello, Miss Dilly Owens. There you go. Larissa, hey girl, good morning. Thanks for coming. I have a Kylie question if anyone knows. Shoot. Let me try to get caught up too so that I can catch it. What's the question, Larissa? Thank you, Justice. I would appreciate that. Annie Ruler, early 90%, 7 years. What is that? That's somebody else's gadget that they forgot. So let's just ignore that. That's weird. Should I get up and see what it is? Is it a bomb? Is it a bomb threat? Oh, did somebody put their phone in my bag? All right. I've never done that, have I? Gotten completely up out of the chair. So, and you guys know I don't like to edit my videos, so I'm not going to edit that out unless, I had like my fly was down or something, then I might have to. Or if I forgot to put on pants. That's always my joke. I'm like, you got to be prepared for anything, right? Anyway, let me get caught up. Sorry, you guys. Early 90s, several years later, he was transferred to high school. He seemed to be attracted to pre and early um, puberty girls, must have felt he'd be safer around the older girls. Oh my God, that's insane. Having been a substitute teacher just 1 year in the school system, and when you're with those high school kids, they're so like hormones are running so strong. Like that would be the worst place to put some creep. The worst place. Is like a disaster waiting to happen or a disaster happening. There's a big hitter that says he stays 50 feet away from the Donner parties year. What time of year are those parties? Um, well, the Donner parties, I don't know, but if you're talking about the conventions that they have, like the alpine conventions at the Lost Trail Lodge, those happen twice a year, once in January and once in July. The last one that happened before Kylie Rodney had her tragedy was just 1 week before. It was the weekend right before. So she had her quote unquote disappearance on August 6th, and that was Saturday, August 6th, Friday night, August 5th, if I'm remembering accurately. And the last weekend of July is when they have their summer Alpine Club convention thing. And it was that previous weekend. I think it was like Saturday. I think it starts Friday. I think it goes Friday, Saturday. If you look online, you'll see the flyers for it. Let's see. Yeah, so let's get was that the question, Larissa? Was that it? There's a big hitter that says he stays 50 feet away from the Donner parties year. What time of year are those parties? So I don't know if those are the Donner parties. I mean, those are the Alpine Club, and maybe it's one and the same. I have no idea. So I know quite a bit about the Alpine Club conventions because I was all about looking into those and what the heck were they, and talk about heavy hitters, like the people that go to those Alpine Club things. And again, it was the weekend before Kylie allegedly went missing. So, by the way, got those screenshots. What? Which screenshots, girl? Awesome. Oh, Sifa says, "Oh, him. Yes, I can check his emails. I have them 1 second. That is so sad. Heavenly Clouds. I wish Madison would have had someone with her to help protect her as she was so drunk." Oh, man. I mean, and having survived all of that and then getting hit by a car. Okay. Oh, well, Larissa, it's August, Sifa says. So Sifa knows about the Donner party. See, I have not heard anything about a Donner party. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Do they eat people there? Like, these people are insane with their cult community, whatever you want to call it. It wouldn't surprise me. There's people that do that, you guys. I know it's like, um, QAnon type of BS, the Illuminati, the satanic cults. That's what they do. Somebody was in the chat the other day and said something about the adrenochrome. If you guys don't know what adrenochrome is, let me tell you real quick. Because I think it's important to know. I don't think it happens too often, but adrenochrome is like the endorphins that are released when you're scared, and then it's released into your blood. And so this weird, creepy thing with adrenochrome with the Illuminati is that they want to drink the blood of young, scared individuals because they think it has like some crazy magical powers, like absolutely disgusting. So that's what adrenochrome is. Okay. Has there been any headway in the KR case? I'm sure there has. And Larissa says, Sifa, we need to email immediately, if not sooner. That was it. Let me get your email, Sifa. Don't you love? I know exactly what you meant. Absolutely. Are you like spying on her? Blockella, huge. Oh, exciting. Justice has my email. Yeah, I'll shoot you Sifa's email and shoot Sifa your email, Larissa. You guys have my email. If you don't, it's finally in my description of my about thing. I finally, put all that information in there that was just blank for so long because I'm such a goofball. So I'm so excited that I did that. I only did that this last week, like on Sunday, like 5-6 days ago. And I did it all. I just sat down and did it all. I wasn't even planning on it. It was just kind of spontaneous. Because I was trying to do other stuff that I couldn't figure out. So I did stuff that I could figure out. And it's in my bio on my channel. Okay, cool. Larissa has her email in her bio on her channel. And see if I recommend that you do that too. It's great when it's easy to find people's email. And Jem says, I wish I never read it. She was so pretty. She caught my eye. And an LSU student, wish I never read it. I hear you. And yeah, you said it just happened just a few days ago. 10 days ago? 12 days ago? Johnny Depp's character taked adrenochrome in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Kiki Ray, see, that's what's so wild is I saw that movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, but I saw it a long time ago, way before I had any notion about any of this crazy crap. And so that part about adrenochrome just went right over my head. And let me smack my flowers. And that's so wild because yeah, we see this stuff all the time, but we only see what we're expecting to see, right? That's how things stay hidden in plain sight. Oh my goodness. Wow. Take Hannah to Hannah. I'm not sure what you mean, Kiki Ray, if you want to follow up on that. Take Hannah to. Trying to think what that would mean. Anyway, tell us, please, Kiki Ray, if you want to follow up. Sifa says, okay, sent. Dilly Owens, imagine they have a restaurant called Bones and Buddy in a cafe called the ER, a specialized in liver, ribs, and a lot of finger food. LOL. I hope you're just making all that up, Dilly. But you just never know. Truth is always stranger than fiction. Sifa, not her, but my eyes have been on said person. It should be on mine too. Let me double check. Huge news. Please share, Larissa. Blockella says, well, I've been trying to keep up with Larissa's stuff, and it is challenging. It's challenging keeping up with my own stuff. And then Sifa and Larissa and Dr. Latina, and those are like my top priorities right now. You guys, I just found a new channel too to make it even harder for me. True Crime Design. Have you guys heard of that channel? She has like 10,000 subs, so she's been around a while. And it was a video that I just found this morning. It showed up in my feed for some reason, and I was so glad it did. It was 2 days old, and it was about the 8 hours from 4 a.m. on the night of the Idaho incident, the quadruple homicide, until the 911 call at 11:58. She did a really good job covering it. So True Crime Design. They had okay. So Jem J says, I know it breaks your heart sometimes watching the news, tagging Heavenly Clouds. It can be hard. Sometimes it's good just to take a break. And Kiki Ray says, I was correcting my language about the take Tana too. Okay. Gotcha. I'm still a little bit lost, but that's okay. We'll just keep moving forward, right? There was a movie in the 50s about drinking blood of young people to stay young. Can't recall the name. It's a big thing. The whole adrenochrome, it makes you sound crazy if you talk about it because, you know, you would hope that it's BS, but it is a big thing with filthy rich folks that think that they can hit that fountain of eternal youth. It's really disgusting. It's super disgusting. And hopefully there's legal ways that they can get that stuff just like through tissue research stuff, not the black market, but it's probably all black market would be my guess. I don't know. Not going to look into it either. um let's see. Everyone in chat, leave your DNA on the like button. That's so funny. We do appreciate how hard Lady Justice works. And I love this work so much. It takes a lot of focus, and I have to, clear the deck so that I'm not distracted by other things. But I really enjoy it. I get a lot out of it. Thank you. Sent you everything, Sifa. Checking Larissa. We have a huge player we're looking into in the Kylie Rodney case. We just have to verify info to get a few channels to cover it because it could be potentially DA, which I'm thinking you got cut off there. Dangerous info. Well, yeah, I think the whole Kylie Rodney case is kind of dangerous info. Seriously, like we all need to protect ourselves. Seriously. Heavenly Clouds, Gem J, yes, just came out yesterday about LSU student. I remember dad waiting for rapist in court area as rapist walked in court. Dad turned around and shot him dead. Sorry, I agree. Well, that is the plot of a movie that I remember pretty well called A Time to Kill. And it was about a black father in the South whose black daughter, I believe, was raped and murdered. I think she was like 10 in this movie. And I think it was based on a true story. And he shot and killed the white guy in the court. I don't know if it was going into court or coming out of court, but he just didn't feel like he was getting justice. So that's the title of the movie, A Time to Kill, if anyone's seen that. If there ever is a time to kill, that would be the time, right? In my humble opinion, not that there's ever a time to kill. You just can't be a vigilante. You can't take justice into your own hands. And no scumbag is worth it. No scumbag is worth it. So I don't know if you're referring to the same thing, Heavenly Clouds. Does adrenochrome make them pasty white? Something looks off about Zerbucks. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's creepy AF. I don't know. Don't know. Hence why Kylie's death was a cover up. And see, I still think there's like a 0.00001% chance that she's not actually deceased. I think it's like a snowball's chance in hell, but I think that it's a remote possibility that the whole thing was done to get her into the streets of trafficking and out of anybody's purview. Local DNA on like LOL. Yeah, LOL DNA on the like button. So yeah, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. I really appreciate it. It does so much to help me and to help the channel and to help all of us. And I just want to keep the momentum, which is one reason why I do my videos twice a day, because when I do something, I like to really do it, and I like to just hit it hard. So, like we're at Friday over the weekends. I've been trying to take the weekends off, but I don't really enjoy taking the weekends off. Like I miss you guys so much. So sometimes I'll do a video on the weekend, and I don't want to say that I will. I want to just leave that open. Honestly, in my heart and in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I'll just do one on Saturday and just one on Sunday rather than the two that I do Monday through Friday, or I try to do Monday through Friday, two of them. I just feel like it works for me, and I apologize if it's too much for other people. Let me know. I'm open to feedback because we're at 1 hour right now. I want to wrap it up in a few and then get back on here later with you guys probably early afternoon, just like at 1 o'clock or something, maybe 1:30. This dad I remember seeing on the news could be in the late 1980s or 1990s before the metal detectors were put in. So you know what, Heavenly? I bet that that's the one that they made that movie A Time to Kill about. I bet you it is. We could look it up. I bet you anything. Um, I want to say Sidney Poitier played, or Danny Glover. One of those two played the father. So, Annie Ruler, people offered to off my abusive ex that disabled me. Oh my goodness. No, 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 no. But he's karma's himself. Broke his neck 12/31/22, just 3.5 weeks ago. May never walk again. Can't hurt people if you can't move. We are safe. That's crazy, Annie. I'm so sorry. But yeah, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of crippling injuries come from physical abuse. Of course, physical abuse can cause fatality, even unintended. Um, Probably a lot of it's unintended, right? The fatal domestic violence, whether it's spousal or parental towards kids, or even kids towards parents, that can happen too. But obviously, it's much more common with kids, with parents victimizing their kids because they're idiots and they need help. I mean, people need to get help when they need help. If you're in over your head, raising kids is hard. It's really hard. And people get to the end of their rope. I mean, there's no excuse for it, but get help if you need help. All right. Zena, just play it by ear on weekends. Well, that's what I try, but I wanted to let you guys know that I have every intention of doing a video tomorrow and the next day just because I like it so much. Like I feel like it keeps my momentum. I just like to have that momentum. So we love anytime you want to do one. Well, thank you, Dilly. That's really sweet. And I'm sorry you had to go through what you did. I believe in karma. Okay, you guys. So let me look at my notes, see what I haven't said yet that I wanted to be sure to share. I think I got all of that. Oh, I did want to say about those 5 Memphis police officers that got fired and are getting charged with murder. They're getting charged with second-degree murder, which again, I think it goes with the police immunity because it sounds to me like it's first-degree murder. It sounds like they set out to do things like that. So they're only getting charged with second degree, but they're getting charged. That's what's important. They got fired. That's what's important. But I don't believe that getting rid of them is getting rid of the root of the problem there in the Memphis Police Department. Let's see. Okay, so in the 8-hour video, or the video that True Crime Design put out 2 days ago about the 8 hours from the time of the fatalities at the Moscow, Idaho 4 until 911 was finally called at 2 minutes to noon. She said this, I wrote it down. The key to the investigation is in the interviews with the survivors. Or that was in her video. I don't know. I don't think she said it, but that was in her video. Key to the investigation is in the interviews with the survivors. And I wrote it down because I thought that's probably the truth right there. Interviews with the survivors. Yes, they are survivors. Yes, they will be having PTSD. But I've made the point, even the assailant, even the villain is going to have PTSD. That's just a human thing. You can't let that distract from business that needs to occur. The survivors need to be interviewed, and depending on how the interviews go, they very well might need to be interrogated. An interrogation is different than an interview. Very different. So, if the interview doesn't go well, then you interrogate, basically, right? If people are lying to you, if they're causing problems, if they're having the attitude, like the attitude that NK had in her interviews, in a real police interview, that would have shifted gears to an interrogation, but it never did because because that's a whole nother case. Anyway, so I want to mention about this case that both of the sororities that these girls that lived in this house at 1122 King Road, both of the sororities, Alpha Phi and Pi Beta Phi, if I'm saying those right, they both had been on probation for reckless behavior. So what it sounds like this true crime design is putting forth in her video is that the girls that were in the sororities were calling other girls in the sororities to find out how to handle the situation without getting the sororities in more trouble if they were already on probation for reckless behavior. So this protecting the house is the number one rule of being part of the Greek system. Just like how we were talking about earlier with, schools protecting themselves, universities protecting themselves, cities and towns, communities protecting themselves. That's their top priority. So I think that that's very relevant. So Bill Thompson is the prosecuting attorney in the case with the Idaho 4 and with the criminal defendant. So Bill Thompson is the guy that kind of looks like Santa with the big long Santa beard. And it wasn't him. It was the captain who looks a lot like James Fry. And I'm forgetting the police captain's name right now. But I'll just be straight with you. I don't like him any more than I like James Fry. And he was talking about how hard this whole scene was on his officers. Some of them are very young. And I'm sorry, not sorry. They're cops. They need to deal with it. If they can't deal with it, they shouldn't be cops. I know that sounds harsh, but that's the truth. A real cop, this is what they live for. They live for intervening with evil and putting bad guys in jail. That's what gets their blood going. That's why they get into the work. That's why they do it every day. Those are heroes. It's not that they're glory seekers. That's a totally different thing. That's crap. Those are the cops that don't live for protecting and serving the public. They live for getting attention and driving the U-Haul when they're taking stuff out of the house when they should be trying to bust the perps. That's a glory seeker. Glory seekers are the lowest form of scum in any first responder. I know I'm so harsh. I was going to say any first responder profession. Glory seekers are the scum of the earth, you guys. So when you see somebody that's looking like a glory seeker, know that they are like the scum on the bottom of your shoe when you step in dog mess, okay? It's awful. And especially within the communities of first responders, real first responders, real heroes hate the glory seekers like nobody's business. Because again, they make the professions look bad. They make the professionals look bad. They don't live to be the hero. They live to bust a move and take care of business. That's what they're trained for. That's what they want to do. That's why they get into it. The good ones. Okay, what did I miss? I missed a whole bunch. God says revenge is mine. He got God's revenge. Sorry, he did that to you. I always say, I really think the best revenge is living well. That was Sam Jackson. Thank you. Just saying, you're the bomb. Sam Jackson is the bomb. He was good and bad in Pulp Fiction. I wasn't really a fan of that movie. All that glorifying of mobster mentality. I know it got a lot of attention. And yeah, the dance scene was good with Uma Thurman and Travolta. That was good. But that movie in general was just a crazy mess. It had some good stuff, but overall it was really gross. I mean, that's the title. Pulp Fiction is like to be over the top gross. Anyway, Sam Jackson was in Pulp Fiction and he was really bad and really good in Pulp Fiction. And he was amazing in The Time to Kill. He's a great actor. Matthew McConaughey. Yes, him too. I believe good movie, but hard for me to watch. Philly cops are prepping for First Amendment unrest due to the body cam footage being released. Ooh, Kiki Ray, thank you for that. Yeah, Philly, that's the city of the brothers, the brotherhood. Philly is like top notch with being just all American freedom and liberty, in my opinion. I love Philly. Philly was the backdrop for Rocky, and that was why. Rocky, another great movie, a great, great classic movie. Let me just add this real quick. I know this is a tangent, and probably most everybody knows this, but anybody who doesn't know needs to know that Sly Stallone wrote Rocky. I think he was 25 years old when he presented it to Hollywood producers who said, "Oh, yeah, we love your movie. Thank you. We'll buy it. And we think so and so, like Burt Reynolds or somebody, will play Rocky." And he said, "No." And they said, "Oh, really? Who were you thinking?" And he said, "Me." And they said, "Okay, bye. Good luck with that." So anybody who doesn't know that, Sly Stallone is much cooler than his Rambo character that he kind of turned into in real life, in my opinion. Okay. So anyway, like I said, that was a tangent, but I'm a huge fan of the Rocky movie. I'm a huge fan of Sly Stallone at his best. He definitely got chewed up by Hollywood, poor guy, because he had a big heart going into it. And it's just the story of how all of us can be like Rocky. And it's okay to lose. It's okay to surrender and to fail. It's okay. That's not what defines you. What defines you is the journey, not the goal, and what you do with it, how you take it from there. Um, and let's see, where are we? About the five cops. So that is scary because it was in Tennessee, not Pennsylvania. Right, Kiki Ray. Well, nationally, like I was saying, it goes to the same level of George Floyd back in 2020. Um, it hits that level. And that's why I was talking about Portland, Oregon and Seattle, because I'm just like, yikes. Especially areas that have continued to have a lot of these problems, like Lexington, Kentucky, tried to eradicate a lot of their trouble by handling the Breonna Taylor case the way they handled it. But there's still so many cases that have been mishandled. Alpha Phi pronounced Alpha Phi. Thank you. Like it matters. No, it does. It does. I like to be accurate. But yeah, I mean, I misenunciate things all the time, I'm sure. But they have a secret handshake and door knock and other secret stuff that happens in sororities. Well, yeah, I don't know much about it. Like I said, when I went to a school that had a lot of Greek system, Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, I stayed away from that crap, especially the fraternities, because that's where these types of things happen routinely, and it was known, and it still happens, and it's still known, and just all the hazing. So yeah, I'm just totally not down with that. Harsh reality. Justice A to Z Blockella says a real cop wants to make a difference to the community. Right, a real cop just wants to do a good job and have a happy life, have a balanced life. That's a real cop. And To Kill a Mockingbird, love that movie. Yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird was written by Truman Capote's BFF, and you guys know who I'm talking about. Harper Lee wrote To Kill a Mockingbird. A lot of people think that Truman Capote ghost wrote that for her. And then there's been a couple of books since then, even one that was published recently after she passed away. Was that the one called The Lighthouse or something like that? So yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird was like the only book she'd written for most of her life, and I think there's still a lot of people that think Truman Capote ghost wrote it for her. I don't know. I love Truman Capote's work. He was an amazing writer, like Hemingway. Both of them just really had the power of the pen and the power of the language, and knew how to use punctuation and good words, words good. And yeah, not that many people can write well. So I don't know. I actually tried to read To Kill a Mockingbird and it was dragging for me. So I don't think that Truman Capote ghost wrote it, actually. Love Rocky. He wrote his own movies. Yes. And Kiki Ray says, I joined a sorority because you got to go to parties 2 hours earlier. I had no idea you got to go to the parties 2 hours earlier. That's hilarious. Yeah, clearly I was there for the education. That's cute. That's super funny. Okay, so we all know tonight, 8:30, we're gonna do the Dr. Latina. It's Dr. DRE. That's the way it is in Latin American. So I used to call her Dre Latina, and people got really mad at me. They're like, it's Doctor. It's Dr. Latina. So just so you guys know, it's not Dr. Dre. So I was going to talk about this, but maybe I'll start the afternoon video with talking about making amends and apologizing and surrendering. And I'm not talking about me in particular with anything, although if I think about it, I'm sure there's some things I need to. I'm talking about in general for all of us for improving the quality of our lives. Surrendering and making amends. So when I say giving up, I say that tongue in cheek. What I really mean is surrendering. And in surrendering, you free yourself. You really do. And also in making amends, you free yourself. So that's what's important, is to be free. You guys, my motto is live free or die. I need to put that somewhere in my channel because that's my thing. And then I found out that New Hampshire, that's their motto too. Live free or die. And, that's why I feel like I'm a justice warrior, because that's how I think. It's like, if you're not free, you need to fight until the death. If you're not free, you're not living. Like, that's no way to live. Whatever kind of prison you're in, whether that's like the golden handcuffs of a high paying job in a courthouse. And I just have to correct myself because the other day when I was talking about it, I said velvet handcuffs, which kind of works too. But it's like a cliche that I was trying to use, and I misused it. The velvet goes with the velvet hammer, right? For people who know those cliches. And then the handcuffs are the golden handcuffs. So when you have something like a high paying job that you hate, that makes you miserable, that makes you feel not free, that's golden handcuffs, because you could take them off if you wanted to, but they're made of gold. So why would you want to, right? It's rough. I mean, I feel like I escaped having that be my career by the skin of my teeth, because I did really enjoy it for a lot of reasons. And the money was crazy good. And then people get into those positions and no money is ever enough. And then that's where corruption happens. So that was in Seattle, where I got to see up close how much injustice there is in our justice system. So on that, I'm going to wrap this one up, you guys. We are almost to an hour and 20 minutes. So I have to hang up so we can come back on, let's say 1:15. Yeah, let's say 1:15. So it's about 10:30 almost right now. You guys have a great day. TGIF. Hopefully you have a very productive day and get some exercise, get some fresh air, some sunshine, and stretch. Every little bit helps. Taking the stairs instead of the elevator, parking far away instead of close to the door. Every little bit helps. Drink your water, eat your protein, eat your fruits and your veggies, lots and lots of veggies, even if you cover them with sour cream or butter or whatever it is. Eat your freaking veggies, like your grandma said. She, grandma knows everything. Okay, I think I'm done, right? I so agree. One has to feel and live free to have quality of life. I raised my son to find his passion when choosing a career. He did and became a game designer. In One Way Street, as I was reading that, I got to tell you what I was thinking in my brain. I thought he did and became a janitor, just because it doesn't matter what you do if you enjoy what you do. And, people look down on janitors, and they shouldn't. Janitors do some of the most important work in our communities, in my opinion, just like garbage men. And they don't get the credit and the respect and the pay that they deserve. They get paid decently, but they certainly don't get the respect they deserve. So, being a game designer, that is the dream job for a lot of kids. And Just Saying says, thanks, Justice. Mods and chat. I pop in occasionally while I'm working. Nice to see you. Dilly, look for DRA Latina. See you there. Yes, 8:30, you guys. So hopefully I'll be back on at 1:15 for an afternoon live. I'll try to keep it short since this one went so long. And Annie Ruler says K&M had quit their sororities, then went as guests of B and D for Friday night party dance of 150 people. Ooh, thank you for this comment, Annie Ruler. I'm going to write that down, and that's exactly where we can pick up this afternoon. That's wild. I didn't know all of this. I did not know all of this. LOL, always said to be a garbage collector. I always said be a garbage collector if he wants, just like who you see in the mirror. That's funny that you were right along the same. Yeah, I mean, I think garbage collectors are awesome individuals. They do hard work. They know what's really going on. As do janitors. You know, you talk to the janitor of any building, they'll know more about what's going on in that building than anyone. Seriously, right? Mailmen, postal carriers are the other ones who they're kind of like the janitors of our communities in a sense. They know everything. Your postal carrier knows everything. Those are some of the most key people in keeping our communities safe. So you got to love your mail carrier. Okay, you guys, please send an email if you could get Dr. Latina's info for me. I will. I am on that. And Annie Ruler's message with K&M had quit their sororities, then went as guests of Bethany and Dylan for Friday night party dance of 150 people the night before this tragic incident. Wow. Started my own house cleaning business and I'm literally doing someone's dishes at the moment and I love it. That is so cool. Yeah, housekeepers make great money. And most of them get really good respect, but like the housekeepers at hotels, they don't get good respect and they don't get good money. It's really important to leave tips for your house cleaning crew when you stay in a hotel, in my opinion. Even if it's just $1, they appreciate it. It's the thought that counts, right? Yeah, I love my janitor at school. He got the mice out of my classroom. Okay, you guys. Oh, Larissa, we have to hang up. I'm like at an hour and 22 minutes. So I hope I can see you this afternoon. If not this afternoon at 1:15, I'll try to do a video. 8:30 at Dr. Latina's live. So thanks so much, you guys. Have a lovely day. Sending you light and sending you love. I appreciate you very, very much. Thanks again.